There is an ancient rhythm beneath all effort, a quiet movement older than ambition, deeper than motivation. 400 years ago, the samurai called it Kyojutsu, the dance between truth and illusion. It was their secret to acting without strain, fighting without fear, and moving forward even when the heart resisted. We call it laziness, that invisible weight that sits between knowing what must be done and actually doing it. You stare at the task, the list, the goal, but your body refuses to move. You think you're weak. You think you failed. But the truth is softer. You are not lazy. You are misaligned. The mind is not an enemy of motion. It only hesitates when it senses something is off. Modern neuroscience confirms what the samurai already knew. What we label procrastination is not a defect of discipline, but a defense of the brain. When it links an action to discomfort, anxiety, or fear, it builds a wall of stillness to keep you safe. But 4 centuries before science could explain this, Musashi and his warriors had already mastered how to pass through that wall, not by force, but by awareness. Kyojutsu taught them to see illusion, to respect resistance, and to turn it into flow. The first illusion, they said, is that motivation precedes movement. It doesn't. Movement creates motivation. The samurai did not wait for the heart to feel ready. They acted, and readiness followed. When the sword hesitated, they breathed. When the body resisted, they adjusted their stance. The action itself became the cure. You see, resistance is not laziness. It is the mind's way of saying, not like this. It is information, not condemnation. Kyojutsu begins with observation, not battle. When resistance rises, do not fight it. Watch it. Is it the task that is wrong, or the way you approach it? Perhaps you are writing in a format that suffocates your creativity, or working at an hour when your energy is already gone. The samurai never attacked head-on when the terrain was against them. They shifted their angle until effort felt like water flowing downhill. Sometimes resistance reveals a deeper truth. The path itself no longer fits. You may be chasing goals that no longer belong to you, holding on to ambitions that served an old version of who you were. The samurai called this Makoto, sincerity of path. To move without sincerity is to move in darkness. But once your purpose aligns, motion becomes natural again. A study centuries later at the University of Melbourne proved this in data. People abandon projects not for lack of discipline, but because the soul withdraws its consent. When your inner compass says no, the body follows. So how did Musashi overcome this quiet rebellion of the mind? By preparing the field. Before a duel, he did not simply draw his sword. He shaped the space, cleared the ground, set the rhythm. Victory, he wrote, belongs to those who prepare the ground. In modern life, this means designing your battlefield before you step into it. Clean the clutter. Silence the noise. Create an environment that helps you move. Neuroscientists call this neuroarchitecture, the shaping of space to shape behavior. The samurai called it wisdom. If your table is chaos, your thoughts will mirror it. If your surroundings hum with distraction, your spirit will scatter. The body absorbs its environment. A clean space becomes a clean mind. A still room becomes a still heart. You do not overcome laziness by willpower. You dissolve it by alignment, by making the natural path easier than the forced one. In Kyojutsu, this was known as turning illusion into truth. When the mind says, I cannot, the warrior changes the conditions until I can becomes effortless. Start smaller than small. Instead of promising 3 hours of study, simply open the notebook. Instead of climbing the mountain in one day, take a single deliberate step. The brain's wall collapses not through power, but through momentum. One movement leads to the next, and resistance evaporates in motion's warmth. Even modern science now echoes this timeless rhythm. Psychologists found that people who work in short cycles, 25 minutes of total focus, followed by rest, complete complex tasks 40% faster than those who force long, joyless hours. The samurai knew this centuries ago. They trained not for endless hours, but in balanced cycles of tension and release. The bow cannot remain drawn forever. The arrow flies truest only when released at the right time. And here lies the ultimate paradox of Kyojutsu. True productivity is not about effort but ease. Not about conquering time but harmonizing with it. You are not here to battle yourself into submission. You are here to understand your rhythm, prepare your field, and move in accord with your nature. The samurai did not defeat their enemies by strength alone. They used awareness as their sharpest weapon. You can do the same. You can work without force, live without pressure, and act without hesitation. Not because you have changed who you are, but because you have remembered how to flow. Each day, begin again with small clarity. Clean your space. Choose one action. Breathe into motion. Let your body rediscover its own pace. What you call laziness is only the body asking for gentler alignment. The art of movement begins not with struggle, but with silence. And in that silence, life starts moving through you again. Light, natural, unstoppable. Train your mind. Master yourself. Walk the dojo path.